Eric, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
How delighted are you to be hosting CAIS20 here in the Caymans, and what do you think it brings in terms of attracting those key figures in very influential businesses?
Well, personally, it's fantastic for me, for the new Ministry of International Trade, Investment, Aviation and Maritime Affairs to sponsor with, to partner with the other sponsors of CAIS in CAIS20. Of course, CAIS is an annual event and now in its 7th year, and it continues to grow from strength to strength, and this year is certainly no different in that trajectory. We have world-class thought leaders from around the world talking about global issues, talking about macro issues, but being able to present it to the audience, regardless if they're economists or lay people are just interested in hearing these world-class leaders and thought leaders speak. I mean, we heard from Gina Davis last night, and you know, just to hear her speak in a different context. I mean, we've all seen her on the silver screen and at home on the various sitcoms, but to hear her and to hear her personal story, to talk about what she is emotional about, and what activates, you know, her and what gets her going in the context of gender equality, and the fact that CAIS and the organizers of CAIS last year promised to have that gender equality and has delivered on it this year, and as we think it's the first time in history that an event of this nature, certainly of this caliber, has reached gender equality. And now they've met the commitment, but now they've committed now to ensure that it happens year on year. I think it's a fantastic event.
You spoke very passionately this morning about your home, about Cayman as a jurisdiction, and what are you hoping that the audience here take away from what you said this morning about this place?
Well, I think Cayman in its current context is only 60 years old. Whilst Christopher Columbus discovered us in 1503, we really are just celebrating our 60-year anniversary and understanding the exponential growth that we've had in those 60 years and the success that we've had in those 60 years. I mean, the fact that we're almost 80,000 people with 130 different nationalities living in the Cayman Islands in peace and harmony and tranquility, and everybody just getting along. It is really a success story, but it's also an economic and social miracle in the world that is so divided today, so polarized, so divisive. To live in a country that humanity and respect is still at the foundation of everyday living. It's fantastic, and to bring the individuals from around the world that experience that divisiveness and that angst and transaction, if you can call it that, around the world, and then to bring them to Cayman to still talk about those issues, but in a very relaxed, beautiful, serene location. I think it's a recipe for success.
And also you want to convey to that audience just what a success story Cayman is in terms of investment and what it can do, because you want it to really step up and take its place now in terms of being a global player.
We do, and we're looking at locations like Monaco, like Singapore, and like Hong Kong, which are all relevant size to the Cayman Islands, 102 square miles, 80,000 people, but we've still seen as these three islands in the Caribbean. Well, we'll always be in the Caribbean. We really want to level up our standing in the world, similar to what our financial services has done, similar to what our maritime registry has done, and now what we're seeing that our tourism is doing. So you're gonna see a lot of positive leveling up of the Cayman Islands in the global arena.
You did touch on it in your presentation, and it would be remiss of me not to mention you touching on it, but you talked about reputation as well.
Yes.
What sort of still riles you, and what do you think needs to happen there still too?
I guess it's the laziness of the writers, the producers, and the editors that have used Cayman's name, Cayman's brand, as a throwaway comment to reference some form of nefarious activity or money laundering or some sort of a bad player in the world. I challenge all of those. I say, come to the Cayman Islands, have a look for yourself and see if we are a true portrayal of what, or a true example of what you're trying to portray. So I would say that that's really what gets me riled up. What we're doing about it is we're addressing it as it comes up. But also we're going forward with an education campaign to Hollywood and to the other locations around the world that produce and create this media, whether it be television, whether it be movies, whether it be commercials, like we saw with AT&T, to educate them and to show that the Cayman Islands is a real place, a real country, filled with people that are living just like everybody else.
So you want to basically be seen as the purposeful place you are and where you live, and you talked about having children yourself and that being a legacy too.
Yes. I mean that's really, people are asking me, well, Eric, what gets you up in the morning? I'm the proud father of 4 beautiful Caymanian children, multinational children. My wife is French, so they're French and Caymanian, but I have an opportunity in my position to be a player in future-proofing Cayman, and I wake up proud every day to be in that position, but also feeling very responsible to ensure that the Cayman we build now is purposeful and sustainable and prosperous for my children and others.
So just finally, if this very influential crowd that you've got here at CAIS20 were to take one thing away from what you said this morning, what would you hope it would be?
How can we better partner? And what I mean by that is the Cayman Islands story is that of a success story, but these are global players, and they play in that global international arena. That's something now that we, the Cayman Islands, are trying to interact with. So I think the offering is, how can we better partner with you, understanding that we're trying to level up in this arena. You've been playing in that arena for a long time. We are who we are. We have a clear understanding of our culture, our values, and our purpose. But how can we better partner for the prosperity of the organization and the Cayman Islands?
Eric, thank you so much for joining us. Great to talk to you.
Thank you so much.